Oh, hold on for a second, y'all. I think I had another technical. So we're back once again with this, that, and the third episode. This is technically episode 6, right? It's really episode 8, but it's episode 6 due to we had two podcasts that they didn't catch. There was no audio. So, hey, we keep going regardless. It's just a part of the process. In 6 months, you're going to look up and we're going to be in your top 10 business and entertainment podcast. So, mark this day. And as they say, the show must go on. My host, I am the one and only Chad G. The G is for genius, right? Because they always said I was delusional until it worked out, right? That's what they always call you. Like, oh, he's crazy for happening for you trying all of these things. So keep going, everybody. You know the motives of it. So today, I have a pretty awesome guest that's coming on here with us today, man. I can't say enough about love. She's remarkable in a ton of ways, but she's really, really, really good at what she does when it comes to transaction coordinating. We have a lot that just going on in the world, also too. Tons of stuff, man. It's like crazy with real estate. I think coming up, we're gonna see a ton of different ways that all of these things is happening with interest rates, with inflation, which with inflation it just basically causes your real estate to go up. So I always encourage people to um, really truly get involved with the business of real estate. um, that's 90% I've read. That's where the world's millionaires have became millionaires from, is from real estate. um, so I implore you to get in that. And the thing is, when inflation goes up, um, real estate goes up. But it does the opposite if you're not a part of real estate, right? If you just have inflation hitting us like from all angles, you go to the grocery store one day it's $2, you come back the next day or next week it's $3.15, and that's what inflation is. But when you have real estate, when inflation is doing it, it also increases the value of your properties. So therefore, your net worth goes up, your rent prices can you can stabilize them too. I don't like to just shoot up rent prices due to inflation. I think that's harmful, actually. But that is the business, so don't shoot the messenger, as they say, man. Right. So we're gonna get into it. I have love. Let me see if she's in the studio with us today. We can kind of bring y'all on and let y'all introduce and see. There she is, the one and only. Can
Hi.
you hear me, love?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
I
I
can
was
hear you.
backstage. I was like, I can't hear you in the beginning.
Okay,
But you
hold
got
on,
it.
y'all. I can't
Can
hear
you hear
love.
me? You can't hear me?
So hold on. Let me work on that. But again, all right.
Hello, can you hear me?
I can hear you perfect now.
Oh, amazing.
Perfect.
Okay, good, good, good. I
Isn't
was
that classy?
in the beginning. I wasn't able to hear you, and I was backstage. Like I can't hear you. But you fixed that. But
Yeah.
I'm glad. I was having technical difficulties too, Chad.
Yeah.
It's one of those days.
One thing about it, we got this thing called editing. So we're gonna figure the editing part out later on. But
Are
anyway, I
you
like
live? Are you live right now, or are you doing a
no, it's
recording?
well, it
It
may
says
be
it's
live.
live.
Oh, it may be going live now. I had it as just an edit. So
Mhm.
if it's live, it's just reporting to us though. It ain't going out on
Okay.
my things.
Okay.
But if it is, I like to give raw stuff too.
Yeah.
I don't really edit stuff because again, I like to show the authenticity of it all
Hmm.
and just who I am. I ain't got it all together. I'm just a normal person just figuring this thing out and and don't wait to have it all figured out. I think that's what's made me successful to this point. I just
You
jump off the
know,
porch.
I think everybody doesn't have it figured out. I think we go on, or some people pretending that they have it figured out, but
Yeah.
the more I quote unquote, like societal wise, like it looks like I have it figured out. Like I'm realizing I don't have it figured out. It's like a more intense realization. Um, but kudos, congrats on like creating this and putting this together and inviting me and having being consistent with it. Like it's so cool because this is kind of a you've conceptualized this for a while, like we've
Hmm.
even talked about this, so it's really cool to see it
Yeah,
um go into fruition.
yeah, absolutely. And it's a must. I have like people like your cell phone that's not only does exactly what she says, but you kind of touched on it too. Speaking about those who always try to portray something like, "Hey, I do have it all together. Oh, I'm uberly overly successful and all the things due to social media. You can be what you want to be on here, right? But when you have someone that actually does the things they said, is open to show you themselves, I think that's important. And that's what you embodied. I think since day one I met you, always been like that,
Oh,
you know? So that's some one of the things I always appreciated about you too, and then
well,
just your
thank you.
drive. So 100%.
Thank
So
you.
I'm
Look
super
at
grateful.
us. Look at us, friend. Look at the
Right.
years have passed and like it feels like seconds have gone by, but it's been years
It's
and
been years.
we're still just figuring it out, right? Like it's
Yeah.
just
That's the beauty of it, right? It's kind of like, when you have a vision, because both of us is visionaries in the aspect, is that you can see the end. You believe it. Like, there's no way I would have attempted this stuff if I didn't see it and believe it. But the journey be the beautiful part. That's how I feel about it. The journey is where you get the anxiety, the highs, the lows, all of the things. You know what I mean? Because there's no,
yeah.
what to say, a smooth sea never made a skilled sailor. 100%.
Yeah.
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 So
Yeah.
I
Something along those
appreciate.
lines. Yeah, I'm not good with these American sayings and lines, but yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yeah, it goes.
Yeah, so that's kind of what we're gonna get into. So that's a good segue. You hinted because you said that good American saying. So as you all don't know, that love is not of. Well, she is American. However, her parents are African. It's East Africa.
Yeah, I'm actually East African too. I was born.
Yeah.
Um, I want to add to what you're saying though. Like the whole point of it all, though, it's like the beauty is in the journey, right?
Mm-hmm.
The beauty is not um in how much money you make or the shiny objects that you get. It's really in the progression of you as a person, as an individual. Um, and I think that's where success lies for me, is like who am I becoming
Mm.
as I'm creating these visions and I'm bringing people onto the team and as I'm like living out it's like really truly it's like magical, right? Like you're living out your dreams,
Yeah.
like you're dreaming these things and you're then of course it's only you're able to produce the dream by putting in action, right? And like showing up and consistency and going in on the journey, right? And like it doesn't happen overnight, but that's where you're growing and that's where you're becoming, right? Is in the day to day and is in the years and is in the the anxiety, heavy on the anxiety, Chad. Oh my lord, heavy
Heavy
on
on
the
anxiety.
anxiety, dude.
Heavy.
But also heavy on the gratitude and the abundance and the
Mm-hmm.
community and all of that. But it
Mm-hmm.
all comes with it. But yeah, um, I grew up in America, but I wasn't born here. I was born in Sudan, which is East Africa. Now it's divided into two countries, of course. It's North and South Sudan, but I was born in North Sudan, but my family is like South Sudanese. It's if you're following along, I love it. But if not, like I get it too. Uh, my family's from South Sudan, but I was born in North Sudan, and now it's two different countries. And I came here to the states to the Americas when I was 6 years old, and I grew up in Arizona. But now I'm like, I guess I can technically say I'm an East Coaster, right? Like I'm from the
East
East
Coast.
Coast. I live in the East Coast.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I grew up in Arizona, and I just recently moved to the East Coast 2 years ago. Um, I don't know if that's recently, but yeah, I moved here 2 years ago and had a baby and doing TC and being in Chad. I don't know if you know. Do you know I got my realtor's license in
I
Virginia?
seen it. I was gonna congratulate you on it. 100%.
Yeah, I
Yes.
did.
That's
Thank
big.
you.
Cause
Thank
that's
you.
that adds on so much more with the real estate professional, that designation that now that you have, you know, outside
Yeah,
of real estate.
just tools, right? It's like one of those things. It's like tools. Like even with the TC stuff, and I hope we go into it as well. It's like I just want to be in real estate. I just want to do like cool things in real estate, you
Mm-hmm.
know? Like it doesn't matter what it looks like. And like in the beginning, I thought it was one thing, right? Where we go into it, it's like, hey, I need money, and like wholesaling is that's what everyone glorifies and really, really puts on this pedestal of like because it's such a low entry to low barrier to entry.
Mm-hmm.
It's so like incentivizing, right, where
Mm-hmm.
you want to go in and you think that that's kind of the role for you, and you're like, let me do this, let me be a wholesaler. It wasn't for me, it didn't resonate with who I am. But it's so funny because with doing TC, and that's kind of how I entered the real estate game. It's
Mm-hmm.
like just that, right? Like me doing TC is not because I want to be a TC. It's because I want to be in real estate, right? And it's a part of real estate, and it really helped build a foundation for me. And like me being an agent is not because I want to be an agent, it's because I want to be an agent to be in real estate, right? It's like
Mm-hmm.
another tool in my toolbox, and like a way to just pull that out if it pertains to the person I'm speaking to, or if I can add value to them. So
Mm-hmm.
um yeah.
Yeah, that's dope. Because it's all verticals. When I look at it, that's what allows me to branch off and do these different things and do amazing ventures. I'm gonna be excited to talk about soon. You know what I mean? I think it's helpful. My whole purpose that goes along with the thing that you speaking about is I know what I've put into it. Right? I know the money. I know the time. I know the sacrifices. All of the things. However, a lot of people don't have all of those three a lot of times. The money, especially.
Yeah.
So it's like, how can I reduce that cost to help change the landscape? That's my whole purpose. You know,
Hmm.
that's how I'm moving off all of these things. And to hear now that you have that tool where now you can walk in that door as an agent and then also put on the investor hat and have the understanding of all of the roles in it. That's so powerful. How would you say when you speak about, I know at 6 years old, coming here, I still remember stuff from earlier on too. I know it's kind of weird. Like I have memories of me as a kid in a pamper. I have no idea how I still know this stuff or see it,
Wait,
but
with you as a kid, and what?
in a diaper, like a
Oh,
diaper.
really?
And then
What's your first memory?
I used to have this song, and it was Disco Duck, right? It just be a song come on all the time.
Hmm.
I used to just be dancing in front of the TV with no shirt on and the pamper. Typical how we were back in the day, right?
Oh,
And then of course
how old were you?
I have no idea. I know I just had on a pamper, so I couldn't have been but so age, and I was standing on my own, so I wasn't crawling, you know.
Yeah.
But I remember it like it was yesterday. And then
Oh.
I don't track time like that too for some reason. Like if you say what you did at 10, bro, I had to do some math and some okay, what grade was I in, all of that to have
Hmm.
any idea. But it's stuff like that. I look at those times and what's made me like those are your foundation, you know. Um, like I wouldn't trade it for the world. None of my story, 100%. So with yours coming from,
Yeah, that's
um,
beautiful. I wonder, rest in peace to your mom. But like, did you bring that up to her when, like, hey, this is my first memory. Like, do you remember this? Like when I was in
yeah,
Pampers
yeah,
dancing around. Did you like have
yeah.
you
We used
brought
to
that
talk
up to
about
her?
all types of stuff, and she would remind me of stuff too. And then when she
Yeah.
had said, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that thing. So yeah, me and my mom was like super close.
Oh.
That was my dog right there, like 100%. I think
Oh
about it
yeah,
like,
but that's beautiful. It's really cute. I don't truthfully, I don't remember that young. I remember, I would say maybe like around, I remember 3, 4. Um, but this is a story for another day. And if it's live, oh well. But I hope it's not. I hope it's something that we can edit. But if not, it's whatever. But
yeah,
we gotta
it's
talk
recorded.
one day, because I think with those really, really young years, I feel like my brain has blocked out just such traumatic moments
Yeah.
when I was younger, and just
Yep.
things that like I've experienced, because there are time I just don't like a big chunk of like when I was young, a toddler, I just don't remember, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Um but I remember like you, I remember like moments, moments that like formed me into who I am. Or and again, it's just all perception, right? Because then you are going through it, but then like when you ask other people around you who have also gone through it, they're like, I remember it differently, and it's such an odd thing, right? But
Mm-hmm.
when I came to the States, I was 6, and I don't remember, every month of that whole year of when I first
Right.
moved, but I remember being very young, and I remember really, really um, like just visual and vivid moments that occurred where I'm like, it just made me realize now as I'm older, and now I'm in a space where I have like more resources, and I've been exposed to more things, and I've kind of done the whole um just deep diving into like how did we end up in the situation that we did, right, based on being immigrants, and like not having a lot of opportunities, right, when you kind of just reminisce on all of that in your childhood and how you grew up. I just have these like moments like with my dad, like man, like man would like he worked 2 jobs, right? And he would work overnight, and he would ride his bike to work from home, and it would be like a 40-minute bike ride, and then he'd work overnight, and then he'd ride it back in the morning, then take me to school, and we'd like ride our bike, take a bus, and then he would take me to school right at the doorstep, and then go to his second job, and like it was such I remember it being like such joyous moments of like, man, like this is all, right? And like we're in a new place, and like I'm riding my bike with my dad. Like this is fun, right? But then to like in retrospect, now thinking about it of like this dude, like he worked so hard for so little just to make ends meet. And like now, like, we're in a place where we have the opportunity to work as little as we want, right? In a sense, but it's all about who we know or our skill sets, and really putting a lot of value on that, right? And that's kind of based on what we've been exposed to or the people we're around, and like how like privileged are we, and how I'm
Mm-hmm.
just so grateful for that. But those are kind of the moments that I remember when we talk about coming to the States when I was so young. And just like, just those first experiences, like going to like Chuck E. Cheese or like Peter Piper Pizza, and
All
like,
right.
yo, this is so cool, like
Mm-hmm.
pizza and just toys and all those are the cool moments. But um it, even with that, like the sacrifices, like my parents had to make just to make our birthdays special in the way that they could, and like yeah, that's those are the kind of moments I recollect being like a person who came to the States when they were younger.
Yeah. What would you say? Like we like the stories you have is similar to a lot of family stories, especially where I'm from. In terms of those just working. That's just coming from that era, right? I grew up in the era of just transition. That's what I kind of call it. Because even just a part of my story is we when we moved, it was a project, right? And they had just built them. It wasn't none around, and it was like an upgrade to us. Just being real, like that picture I just told you about the dance and all that. It was this little stove, and it used to be sit on the wall due to the smoke, right? And I realized, man, we in all types of health hazards and everything, right? We just stuff we went through, and then we go to here, and it's like an upgrade, but you still this is the projects. So I look at all of that stuff. That's why I say I'm like grateful. And I don't. I appreciate it. My grandmother was held 12 kids down, plus me as the first grandchild, and then a host of other ones coming. Like she was a steel foundation. So I
Wow.
take all of that, and what allows me now today, it's like a compound effect, just like money compounds, interest on interest, right? And I look at that things as like this is my work ethic. It's just now different tools. The stuff they told me, yeah, you need to work hard to get money and take care. Okay, that's great because that's what they knew. They didn't have my opportunities of education, of resources, of people, right? So it still apply. I don't like shoot that down or whatever. But I look at that as like, and even your story, how would you say when it comes to your trajectory, where you are right now in terms of like transaction coordinate? For those who don't know, we'll get into like out to the things like me and Love know each other, so we just get to talking. I have to remind myself, oh, this is not for me. This is for the audience too. So,
I
but
bet it's also new stuff to you, right? Have I
yeah, it
told you
is.
about all of this?
It is. I didn't know all of these things. So I love it. Like I can talk for days about this type of stuff. But how was to those point though, you hit it on the head. Like his sacrifices, yeah, he worked hard for the little things, but that's what your foundation is and what makes love a part of love. You got your own life experiences now that shapes you though. Would you say that just plays a role in it though? Because that's how I look at it. It's like, man, I wouldn't trade none of my experience, and I have a lot of stories, like so many, that I'm gonna get into at some point. Just not
Yeah,
ready, you
I
know.
can't wait to hear it. But yeah, I think you're exactly right. I think it plays a role um in your foundation. It's like the building blocks, right? And I
Mm-hmm.
think for me, when I look at it and the people I speak to, like the formative years that they've had as a child or in their teens, and it kind of creates their why, and like on why they're chasing their vision, why they want to be an entrepreneur, why they want to be in real estate, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's from my experiences, and again, just based from I can't speak on anyone else, but from my experience and the people I've spoken to, and I'm thinking about it now, is just I would say 9 times out of 10, it's those trying times or the sacrifices their family made or the neglect they felt or the bullying they experienced, right? Or the that teacher telling them, no, you're never going to make it, right? That's like the reason why they want to go and accomplish their dreams and really
Mm-hmm.
chase after that, to either prove something, to provide something, to tell someone off in a way, to prove to themselves, right? It's like a combination of all of that. And for me, like my family is a big part of my why, like their sacrifices and everything I've seen them go through and their stories, and me being the eldest, it contributes to like why it's just like not for me, like I'm such a person where it's like if it was just for me, like I would be so lazy, like I wouldn't do it, right? Like
Right.
because I know it's not for me, because like even it's so weird. I look at everything as like just divine timing, and everything works the way it's supposed to for a reason, right? And like everyone's path is for them. And even me doing TC stuff as like my first entryway, and like how it resonates with who I am as a person, right? And like um kind of like that back end support, right? Of like helping someone else with their transaction, right? It brought me joy, and that's what
Mm-hmm.
started it, right? Because it's like helping someone else, right? And like even now with again my why, and to kind of circle it back to, does it play a role? Like exactly that. Everything I'm doing and my dreams and my visions, and the reason why I push myself so much and I have such big goals, is because it's like for my family and to provide for them, and to not have them stress about stuff that no person should really stress about, right? Like when it comes to the monetary side of things, like no one,
Mm-hmm.
no one should stress about housing, or no one should stress about food that they're going to provide for their families, or the luxuries, the simple luxuries, right? And like it's they deserve that, and that's the reason why I push myself so much.
Yeah, love that. 100%. When it comes to transaction coordinating and your entry into it, to where you started to now, how would you describe, like, so transaction coordinator, you will see different ways from different ones. And I think it's more so not done to me, in my opinion, like correctly. It's just like, oh, I'm just giving you a contract, and now you just talking to the title attorney and myself. I think it's way more that my experience with you on the deal that I had actually was different, you know. So it's like night and day. When you describe your role as in terms of, well, that might be too broad because I know where your role is at now because you know a little
You
overly
should know by
simplistic.
now, man. No,
Yeah,
but it's okay. Maybe for people who, I guess it's okay. Like for people who might not know, right?
yeah,
Like we can go at it from that perspective. But I'm
yeah.
curious too. Like what are you still wholesaling? Like what's your model? What's your strategy? And then are you TCing your stuff? Do you have a partner? Do you have an integrator? Like I we haven't touched base on all of this, and I'm so curious.
Yeah, so personally myself, I love all aspects of it. You know, um, as it started with me was from again back that story I just talked about. Like one day I'm gonna have it. You know, it's no doubt. I always had that, even when I had nothing, and I knew real estate was one of the things because being a crowded house.
Hmm.
So when I finally heard it was a guy just speaking about a bandit sign that I always seen in the hood, and I was like, oh, I need to find out who these people are, you know, because I thought they was legit investors, but he said those are wholesalers. Oh, perfect. So this is my barrier entry, right? The low barrier entry was wholesaling, and so I never get that part up because now since I have people that you're responsible for, um, you have to basically have injections of cash to feed that, you know. So I kind of have a mixture of it. The most I keep them like is one, two, three, like four of them right now actually that I actually keep, you know.
Okay.
And then some of them I got like two of them I wholesale to make sure everybody getting fed. Because when I keep them, I still gotta pay them. You know, you
Yeah.
still getting something, but it's coming from me at that
Yeah.
point. You know.
So are you doing you're doing a combination, or are you just doing like bandit signs? Or are you calling?
Mm.
Like I know I've seen on your YouTube you're doing like agent outreach and stuff.
Yeah, no, I've never used a bandit sign. I just when he described what that was, it let me know. Oh, that's a wholesaler who's trading paper for $10,000. I said, oh,
Mm,
that's 100% fast
mhm,
money. That's how I
mhm,
looked at it, and so
mm.
that's how I got into it. And now that I'm still into it, still yes, I still have to wholesale. I'm buying and holding. I just got an email from a guy with 33 units that I'm underwriting. So I have
Oh, nice.
partnerships with people that build modular homes as well as develop subdivisions. So
Yeah.
we got a plan of getting land. Well, they already do it. They custom home builders, and you know how we think is a who, not how. So I
Mhm.
don't need to learn how to do grading, entitlements. I just need to know the basis of what I'm looking
Yeah.
for. So I do everything. I have a partnership I teamed up on. I'm gonna start doing ads on here too to blow them up. They
Mhm.
do LLCs and like accounting, bookkeeping, and all of that stuff, and getting affiliations with them too.
Mhm.
So yeah, I just have tons of verticals to what I'm doing. Like
Yeah.
anything I'm doing, my motto is kind of like the late Nipsey used to say, "All money in, less
Mhm.
money out." You know,
Mhm.
and that's always been my motto to keep me
Love
moving.
it. So you're focusing primarily on like holding and like
Yeah, I rather
nice,
hold stuff. I have people on
nice.
my team that does TC. They want to do their own. They actually want to create their own communities
Yeah.
and give back and help other people too. So I'm gonna help blow them up too. You know,
Nice. Yeah.
yeah. Following the blueprint. That's all. Don't
I
reinvent the
love
wheel.
it. I
Just make
love
it
it.
ride longer. That's it. You know.
Did you have multiple ideas for your podcast name? Because I know you were gonna do your brand, right? Like when?
Yeah, yeah. So I
Were
started.
you
So I went to Abraham. You know Abraham. That's my man. So he said, I told him what I want to do. I said it's gonna be called Winners. He said, what is it? And you know, Abraham is blunt. That's one thing
Mhm.
I love about him. You know, he said, "What
Mhm.
is it?" He said, "I don't know. I don't. It don't catch. I don't understand what you're saying. You have to explain it." I said, "Okay." So I pivoted because I'm still using it because that's a part of my mission.
Yeah.
That's a part of my mission statement.
Yeah.
That acronym, "We Here Now,
Yeah.
Everyone Rise." You know,
Yeah.
so that's the acronym of it. And "We Here Now" is present. So yeah, I'm gonna do it, but it's coming in a different thing. It's part of my clothing and stuff too that I'm putting out.
Mm.
I have slogans and stuff on it. So yeah. So I
Yeah. 'Cause
trademarked. I actually
I
trademarked this stuff.
oh, that's what you were referring to when you were talking to your
Yeah,
trademark
he just
attorney.
had called me. That's why I say I was so glad that you didn't hop on
Yeah.
earlier because
Yeah.
he had called me. He was like, "Hey,
Oh.
and we was going over some stuff. So it's like official. Nobody can use it. I can tell
That's
people to
cool.
stop using it and everything. Yeah,
No, it's your yeah, it's yours, and that's interesting. You know the story behind it. It's just so cool to see.
yeah. So this, that, and the third. You don't remember? Just I don't want to make this about me, y'all, because I do want y'all to hear what transaction coordinating is. But bear with me. But
No, this is a conversation. You know, like this is
yeah,
your podcast, so like it's a conversation.
yeah. I had this. I It was a song called "Halftime" by Nas. And he's saying I was slaying them fast, doing this, that, and the third. So chill past that little line right there, and that's what my intro is. So
Mm,
my son is remixing. He got it going too fast, so that's why you don't hear it come on like that. I got
mm.
a way I'm gonna do it, but you'll hear that line in there, and it's just the way that we talk. Just when we describing stuff to each other, um, we'll say it. Just this, that, and the third. We don't want to just name all of the stuff. You know, so I thought it was fitting for what I want to do. Yeah,
No, it's very catchy as well with like the um you know it's the tease. It
yeah,
really, yeah, I like it. It's catchy. You can remember it.
mm-hmm.
It says a lot without
Yeah.
saying too much. You know, so
Appreciate that.
it's good. It's good.
Yeah, appreciate that feedback. I was gonna ask you because you super blunt and you is like you'll say what's on your mind. You get that
You
look
think so?
sometimes.
Really?
Oh, nah. See, I've been blessed with. I believe personally that God has given me the gift of discernment. Right. So if people give like a look or they move right, it is I know what they're saying. It's weird. I truly can't describe it. So just like I told you, oh, I can't say that on live because then the world will know. She'll probably know. Talking about my daughter, you know exactly what I'm talking about
Mm,
right now.
you
So
know what? It's so
yeah, I
funny. I
can't
kept
say it.
reminding myself, I'm like, you can't bring this up, okay? You can't
Yeah,
bring
I
it
can't
up.
say it. Yeah, right, I can't say it. So, but I felt that though, you
Yeah,
know. So
yeah.
that's just so when it comes to you, like when I'm about to say something or doing something, you just had this look. I'm like, okay, she ain't approving of this. Back from Arizona days, like when we used to
Oh
be
my
riding around and
goodness.
we'd be out. You know what I mean? You just all,
Yeah,
and then
my
you'll speak your mind. You know what I
I
mean?
can't hide my facial expressions. I think I can, but I've been
Yeah,
proven time and time and again that I just can't. But I will say I am way more blunt with my family and friends and like
yeah,
my team members, and always with kindness, right? Like there's
yeah,
a way, like people like, but I feel like with like friends, like external friends or people I don't know on a personal level, I a lot of times refrain from maybe my immediate thoughts. So for when you said that, it was just surprising. That's why
yeah,
I'm like, what? You think so? I'm like,
yeah.
how do you know?
Yeah. Oh yeah, you used to do it. Or when we were in conversations with people, and you'll look at them, you'll say, and you like, well, and like, oh yeah, those ain't going for it. You know what I mean? So I'm just observant. If you're around me more, and I'm in certain crowds, I'm just quiet because I'm observant. People like you quiet until you get to talking about something you like. You know,
Yeah,
then
yeah,
I amplify, I get animated, whatever. Because I don't
yeah,
like to waste words for one. I
yeah,
think it's just not me. I'd rather just sit quiet if I ain't got nothing to say of value or something. It's just I'm trying to get better at that because I think also it's the thing called the elevator pitch. Like
hmm,
you sitting on a plane with someone. I don't think you should ride the whole flight without who is beside you, right?
yeah.
Yeah. So I've
You're
been there
so
before.
I'm like, I gotta work on this too, because I'm so the person where it's like I don't also like wasting words. Like I'm like, I want more people where it's like we can be in silent and it's
Yeah.
okay, you know? But
Right.
you're so right though. Like I don't ever feel guilty about it, about being on an airplane and not speaking a single word to any person I'm sitting around. But it's like, why not? You know, like
Right.
yeah, it's when you said that, I'm like, man, I'm judging myself.
Yeah. Yeah. You meet some interesting people like that. I met some
Yeah.
interesting people, elevators and stuff like that for sure. And so yeah, but that's me in a not even a nutshell. That's just like a fraction of what's happening in my journey. But I'm gonna eventually like talk about it. I like write possibly a book and stuff too, just to help people because there's a lot of people that's around me. They know me, and like my team, certain people they know, but the public don't. They just see Chad. And then when I spoke on the squad up summit stage, like people from all different races and ages and all this stuff was coming up, and they were like, some people was crying, and I was like, whoa,
Oh,
hold up, right? So I'm like, I just told you a piece, and they were like, you so unassuming though. You don't think that My
Yeah.
story is my story because it's just wow me. I'm
Mhm.
always been myself. I just in a different environment. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
all it is. A part of your search. I appreciate every freaking step. 100%. You know,
I
a
love
hundred
it.
percent.
That's cool. I didn't know you spoke on stage. But yeah, those are cool. Those are cool goals. And what's the time frame for the book? When, like, what is it going to be around? What do you want to, just your story?
Yeah, I wanted to be about just the triumph, not necessarily a triumph because honestly, I don't know what the I've already won in my eyes. You know what I mean? Like I'm on this podcast speaking to you about what you do and have a relationship with you. Like that's a win to me coming before I come from. It's kind of like when you hear Tank Davis talk about where he come from and what he doing in boxing, like I've already won. These belts don't mean nothing. I made it out of something, you know, and that's
Hmm.
how I look at it. Like when I'm
Hmm.
on a squad or something stage, and Jamil asked that question, "What did you have to fight for? What you have to fight through in order to do what you're doing now?" I said, "Where I come from, my environment. You don't like it ain't how you begin, it's how you end, you know."
Ooh,
So
that's a
that's just
bar.
how I think. I don't too many stories that sound like I'm telling a lie. Like honestly. That's why when people be saying certain stuff, no joke. We would probably talk offline too. But they'll be talking about certain people and I'll be like, yeah, I know that person. But I don't say nothing. I just sit there and like, oh, okay, yeah, you know. But it'll sound fictional if I tell you. Cause you wouldn't be like, oh shoot, you know what I mean? You wouldn't know
What do you
unless I
mean?
just
What do you mean if you're saying what do you mean? No,
you
if you
remember,
know a person.
you remember that Jay-Z line, I got a life you can write a book on. Sex,
Uh-huh.
money, and murder. But man's in the street, man, and I tell you, it'll be a bit that line. That's like my life.
Mm.
100%.
You
You know
gotta,
what I mean?
yeah, we gotta catch up, and you gotta tell me because I don't
Yeah.
know. I don't know any of these
Yeah.
stories.
That's why Jay Z is like, not, oh, shoot. I can talk about Jay Z, but that's like my favorite artist. Him and Big. It was Big and him because they were so close.
Yeah.
But it was, I resonate with Jay because one, his birthday is right after mine, even though he was born years ahead before
Hmm.
me.
Hmm.
But the way he moved is how I was. You know what I mean? This whole thing, the
So
reasonable
I bet
doubt.
you mad right now. You tight about what they're painting
Yeah,
on
yeah.
him, huh?
I do. It's so funny you say that because when people be saying, I'm like, come on, man, I'm talking to my screen, right? Like if people are seeing, like, man, this man is bugging out, right? Because I be like, man, come on, man, y'all know good and well. This is a person that don't even he's not like that.
Yeah.
If you followed him, he was never the celebrity type. He always was Marcy. When you seen him, you seen Brooklyn. You know,
Hmm.
so it's like imagine it's just code. It's literally how he said in his statement that
Hmm.
it's codes we live by. We do not do that. Like that's not doing. We're not doing that. Now that might not account for 100% of people like that, but I understood what he's saying when he said that statement like that. You heard like, nah, we ain't you ain't about to play with me like that
Yeah.
type stuff.
Yeah.
And that's how I
He,
took it.
yeah,
I
he
don't
went
believe that.
business. He was standing on business.
Standing on it, like, come on,
Yeah.
man. Like I'm not giving you a dime. You talking
Yeah.
about and then the lawyer say, "Yo, we just wanted to mediate. What you mediating for? Like,
Yeah.
what we going to talk about? You trying to get some money? So
Yeah.
it's stuff like that,
And
man. Like
apparently that attorney has had a track record of doing the same thing to, you know, multiple other
multiple, yeah.
celebrities. But more than anything, it's sad because um this is the stuff that follows him around, and now that he like has children, and
Right,
it just hits different, like
right.
it's like the fight is different because it's now you're putting my children in a situation where they have to look at this, or they have to be reminded by it years to
Mm-hmm.
come, and like that's nothing good to you want surrounding or circulating around your parents. So
Now,
um
100%.
even even when it comes out where it was falsified, like the damage has like been done, in terms of trying to taint somebody's brand. When we talk about brand, right,
Mm-hmm.
like
Mm-hmm.
it's now a part of his brand, and it's going to follow him around, and he is his brand, right, like in terms
100%.
of him being a musician and the businesses that he's in and that he's built or bought into. So it's unfortunate.
Yeah, it is 100%. Cause they say your brain is what people say behind your back. You know, and for him to even have that attachment, it's come on, man. That's why he fighting it the way he fighting it. Like
Yeah.
he ain't backing down like that. You know, and I think that's important. I think too, like it shouldn't be a point where I can just anonymously file this lawsuit, but you got the world gonna know who you are, but you ain't gonna know who I am. Like
Yeah.
that's unfair too.
Yeah.
And then if it comes out false, I think you should get a criminal charge too.
Yeah.
That's how I
Yeah, I
feel
should
about
follow
that.
you around. Yeah, now it's follow
Yeah,
now I can follow both of us around. Shit.
yeah, yeah. That's unfortunate, man. I'm 100%. That's one thing I feel like confident about. They ain't done that right there. It's like that's totally like, come on, man. You know?
I didn't know you rock with Jay-Z like this either. You know that? I
Oh,
didn't know that.
oh yeah, 100%. That's like, yeah,
Listen, we got to
him.
talk about some jams. I love me some Jay-Z.
Yeah, 100%. All of that stuff. But
I love me some Be More. I was supposed to go to her concert for my birthday in Houston, her hometown, last year.
oh
Um,
really?
yeah, but I missed it. My daughter was sick, and it was such a moment because we were with my with her grandparents at this time, and it was such a moment of like, this is so hard because um she was recovering from the sickness. We found out what it was,
Mm-hmm.
but a big part of me was like, of course I should stay and be with her, but a smaller part of me was like, man, this is parenting. This is
Yeah.
before I didn't have to consider any of this, right? And now
Mm-hmm.
I'm like a new mom, and like this is like, it was sad. It was like it was like a realization of like a part of the past me has died, you know? And it was like a realization in that moment of like, yes, um this journey is like a new journey and it's empowering, but it was like a sadness over kind of like a shedding of, of a past version, right, where I
Yeah.
had the ability to do that. And it was just interesting. It was a very interesting and like it was a very interesting moment.
Just a clarification of who you are now and the
Yeah.
journey that's ahead of you. Yeah, different for the moms for sure. It's even a saying. It's a hadith in Islamic culture. It talks about the best companion. Who's your best companion? They named the mother 3 times before the
Yeah.
father. You know.
Before, yeah, yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, I
So
love that. Yeah.
yeah. So that's how I equate when anytime I'm looking at any type of woman or whatever, you know, and they have children or something, I understand it. You know, I don't understand it. Let me not say it like that. I actually seen this thing, not to get too crazy,
Yeah.
of what happens inside of the room. I don't know why I didn't think like this, but it showed it yawning, like jumping, kicking, moving, and urinating, all of the things. Like that's so incredible, you know, that not only God allows it to happen, but this woman is experiencing that, you know, and just carrying on with life. That's a whole different type of strength and resilience. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, and
my hat's is like totally respect the women when it comes to that, 100%.
I have a different respect too. Like I'm with you. I'm with you. It's just there's no words to describe what you go through. It's like an evolution within itself. Is like pregnancy and giving birth, and
Mm-hmm.
um, it's like multiple evolutions within the span of 9 months. Truthfully,
Yeah,
because
100%.
uh, pregnancy and each each trimester is so different, but then when you're giving birth, that's like a journey within itself. But I since giving birth, I have now a different respect for my mom, and like what she went through multiple times.
Mm-hmm.
So it's yeah, it's that full circle
Yeah,
moment. And I'm like, hold on, wait a minute, it's not going to happen anytime soon again. But for what it was so beautiful. I loved it. I thought after my first trimester, like it was easy breezy. Like I love being pregnant. Like if you know, yeah, I could do it. But in terms of all the other stuff with it, and just like it's such a change. And with where I'm at now, and just trying to be the most for Lila and the most for me at the same time. And my business, it's just it doesn't make sense to have more children. And I'm like, how do like I kudos to imagine the women who are doing it like alone with multiple children and like they're running businesses. It's just
Yeah,
it's a headspace I can't even imagine.
yeah. Well, kudos you, man. Nala's beautiful. That's it. That kid got a two sides of a great coin. You know what I mean?
Oh,
So
thank you.
he's doing an amazing job, 100%. I watch from afar. I'm a very a far watcher type of person. You know what I mean? It's hard for me to. I wouldn't say it's hard. That sound like an excuse, you know. But I don't rarely talk to everybody that I look at as friends and like good people on a regular basis. So this is awesome for me to have this time with you because you don't answer my text sometimes either. So
Whatever. I've been calling
no,
you, dude. I've been
no,
blowing you up.
yeah,
Chad is Mr. Busy Guy
yeah,
in North Carolina.
yeah. I'm
No, but no, it's good. I love this. I'm glad we're able to. It doesn't even feel like a podcast, truthfully. It
I
just
know,
feels
right?
like two friends catching up.
No lie, like
But I'm with you though. Like we're all living life. Like it's
yeah,
okay. You know, like we don't gotta talk every day. We should talk more for sure
yeah, yeah,
because
yeah,
it's just important to touch base and to run thoughts with each other or to talk about ideas and goals. And I need to do more of that for sure. That's actually one of the things I'm working on currently. I don't even want to say in 2025. Like I'm working on it now.
mm-hmm.
In terms of brand, what we talked about. Like I want to put myself out there. I want to go back to the basics. Like that's been my theme
Mm,
this year and going into next year of like meetups, and just really putting myself out there and connecting
yeah,
with people. And I'm also pivoting with what I'm doing from the TC stuff, and that's a story for another time.
mm-hmm.
But I'm pivoting more to the traditional side, but I'm not even doing TC stuff like that. I'm doing more, direct to seller, and I'm actually going into the wholesaling space, and I'm looking to flip my first property
Oh,
next year. So
love it.
in my
Yeah.
backyard. So it all kind of ties together with the agent stuff and the TC stuff. But um, we're all living, yeah, we're all living our own life. But it is important that we do touch base every once in a while,
Yeah, hundred
and
percent.
I want to actively work on that.
Yeah, yeah. I send you a weekly text just to get you. Yeah,
Let's do it. Okay.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah. But you're gonna crush it though, like so many attributes you have. You know what I mean? Like for
Oh,
anything, I
thank
think
you.
that you can delve into, like you have a ton of those, just that it thing. You know, in terms of intelligence on a high level, the drive, like the whole thing, man. Like 100%, you're gonna be fine.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah,
That's so
real
sweet.
talk.
Inshallah,
Yeah,
like man, God
yeah,
willing, God
yeah.
willing.
God willing,
Yeah.
inshallah ta'ala. So when it comes to the basics, what does that look like? You know what I mean for you? Cause that mean too. When I hear basics come from you, if I hear that come from someone else, like, oh, you just right here. But the basics for you is
Yeah.
like that looks different.
Well, if someone were to say like back to the basics, what would be your first thoughts?
when it comes to if we speaking in transaction coordinating only, right? Just the basics of that. That's someone that's saying, hey, because I see it all the time now, because there's so many people that delve into it, don't really got it yet.
Yeah.
But there's just someone like myself, hey, I got this thing under contract.
Yeah.
I give it to them. They
Mhm.
send it the title. They put me in this email chain that I don't want to be a part of,
Mhm.
and doing all the communicating with
Yeah.
title, and if I have an end buyer or whatever the thing is. That's kind of like the basics of it. When it gets to the high level side, um, what I've seen is people now, TCs, the transactional coordinators, they will start now talking to the seller, walking them through the contract, even help locking up the contract, getting pieces of the equity from doing that conversation, and now connecting them to end buyers and the whole thing. And I think that's valuable because now they see end buyers, they see private money lenders, they see so much stuff that they didn't even have to reach out for. They're just utilizing the wholesaler or the actual buyer's network,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
So that's how I look. That's how I see difference between yourself and yourself is made more than what I just described. But yeah, yeah,
Yeah, no, it's so I guess we can start with the definition of transaction coordination, and you
Mm-hmm.
hit it on the head with that. Um, I think in the creative world, Chad, not I think this, I know we've glamorized what a TC is. And it's so funny because what you said about what TCs are doing now, about the locking up contracts, the walking through, sellers through stuff and really, really speaking to them, that is not a part of a traditional TC's role, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like we
Mm-hmm.
that's common in the creative world, and that's something that's what started with my personal brand and me building relationships with people, is because I did that for my friends all the time, right? That's
Mm-hmm.
how like I got my start in real estate, is really going to that extra level and like getting on the phone, explaining the nuances, making them feel comfortable, right? And really, really maintaining that relationship through the course of the transaction, while simultaneously doing the things that you mentioned, right? The opening escrow, making sure you're updated, right?
Mm-hmm.
And once you find a buyer, if you're not keeping these properties, once you assign the deal, helping you with that relationship maintenance as well with your buyer, and making sure that they're updated and that they have set the EMD, that they have checked out the property if they need to go and do a final walkthrough, right? That they know where the keys are at, that they know how they have the final HUD before closing, right? Days before closing, so they can review it and make sure it looks good. And even before that, right, the TCs and what me and my team do, we're reviewing the HUD, right? We're not just sending out the first draft of the HUD that the title company sends to us, right? We're actually reviewing it, and based on our notes, we're like, hey, these need to be revised, right? And then that's a part of our role, is sending that updated version to your buyer and getting their feedback and just making sure that the deal reaches the finish line in a timely manner, right? It's the paperwork management of all of the members of the deal, the third parties, and corresponding between all the people, and just ensuring that the deal has a successful rate, the highest rate of closing, right? And you've heard that,
Mm-hmm.
like if you lock up 10 deals, like 6 are going to close, right? And a big
Mm-hmm.
portion of that is because when it reaches the title point, right, stuff just drops, whether it's proper communication, proper updates. Title company also has so many transactions that they're managing on their side, right? So they're prioritizing it based on a different, list that they have, based on which is closing the soonest. But that can jeopardize your deal, right? If it's closing a month out and you're bringing into a title company and it's not even in their radar, right? And that's why a TC is important, because they're the connection between that. They're the ones that are following up diligently, calling, emailing, updating, and just making sure that if there is an issue that comes back, once that title commitment comes through, making sure that that title commitment is back in a timely manner, even, right? There are
Mm-hmm.
times where title companies will just forget to even order it, right? Because they're also working through a third party, right? So
Mm-hmm.
there's so many multiple lines of communication, that it's just important that you have someone that's in the center of it all. And that's the role of a TC, more so a creative, but again, creative TC. But traditional is just um escrow correspondence and compliance, because in the traditional world, right, it's like it's really, really important with the disclosures and the compliance documents. So that's a big chunk too of what a TC does, and that's kind of where we're going to be pivoting. But when I speak about the basics, in terms of applying it to my life, I just mean um by like reconnecting with people, right?
Mm-hmm.
Reconnecting with the people around me, and having just more conversations face to face, and you know really focusing on parts that I want to get better at, and that's the sales and marketing portion of just me being an entrepreneur. Not even when it pertains to the TC stuff or the realtor stuff or the investor stuff. It's just like, as an entrepreneur, like I want to just get better at the sales and marketing. I'm really good at the leadership portion of recruitment, building teams, systems, processes, right? That part I'm great at, and um, I have the foundations of sales and marketing, right? I had to do it for my business, but in just the general scheme of things of just trying to um, step forward and do new things, like I that's an area that I just want to work on more intentionally. So
Mm.
the basics to me in this season of my life is just going back to like kind of like that headspace I was at when I first started, of um, just learning new things. And I feel like got into this routine of just doing the TC stuff, of just the day to day, right? Of like, and it's beautiful real estate because each transaction is different, and each transaction brings on new people, new
Mm-hmm.
opportunities, new struggles, right? New obstacles you have to overcome, and that's exciting to me. And having to problem solve, and like that all comes with it. But I'm just like, I got a little like tired of it, of like a little bit of the politics with it. And um it's like creative transactions are like so lengthy in terms of like they never really end, like whether
Mm-hmm.
like it just keeps coming back, and I'm just like, I want to go back to the basics of just doing it for like my friends, like without putting effort into the marketing side of things, like my company, and God willing it continues, right, without putting any effort into that, we're making like five figures, more than five figures monthly. This year we're gonna be at around quarter mil, right?
Mm-hmm.
And last year we were um a little below 400,000, so we were like just right, like, I mean, 100,000 is a lot, but like we were near five, half a mil, right? So
Yeah.
we're doing well. And this year we really took our foot off the gas of like, and most of our leads, right, even with the TC world, like it's a business, right, in terms of
Mm-hmm.
systems, processes, team members. Like I really turned this into a business, and um it became kind of a rat race to me, right? And like
Yeah.
I'm so grateful for the foundation of where I started, and a lot of it was like just being that go-to person, right? The meetups, all of that, right? It started that foundation into where people would just tag us, and that was our lead flow, right? And then
Mm-hmm.
converting that into opportunities and transactions. But like the basics to me now is like I don't want to like I don't want to put any effort into that right now. I want to pivot. I want to try new things, and like uh, because I just love teasing, and it's a business that I've built, and it's just for the most part running itself. Like I'm just kind of helping just my friends with the transactions, and like that is enough to maintain and like to continue on and to have it running. And I just want to again just go into trying new things, and that's the reason
Mm-hmm.
why I got my realtor's license. And um the reason why I'm like this season I want to just go back to the basics of reconnecting and
Yeah.
trying new things.
Absolutely. Marketing, they say there's the number one marketing is voice, right? Somebody else talking about it rather than an ad or anything like that. So that I can definitely see that, and that's what I like it. Like I couldn't if I can just talk to people all day and just man, like this is awesome to me. So that's why I
No, you're
believe,
great at it.
yeah,
You're great at it. So
I
yeah.
appreciate that. I like to go around and connect and meet new people, you know.
Yeah.
So I definitely this has been good. I don't been out over the place because again, it's just I'm talking in love, you know. So, but this was good though, love, man. I'm
I
hundred
don't
percent certain.
thank you for this though, because it's cool to just talk about it. You're the first person I've really talked to about like the changes and stuff. And like I don't ever
Oh,
talk about money either. Like how much, like I don't ever, I don't know. It's just a weird thing, and it's
me
weird that
too.
it's a weird thing, but
Facts.
um
I wish I was on the one. Paige told me that. He told me that in front of a crowd. He's like, "So, how much you can raise from a meetup one time?" Like,
uh-huh.
I'm not comfortable to say that's your stuff you got to deal with. You know how it
Yeah.
is, right? And I
Yeah.
like, yeah, and I told him, you know, but yeah, I'm like that too. I even minimize it. Like when people like if somebody is hosting me or put me on something, I put this and this, and that's it. Like
Mm.
I'm just not that person.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
I do see the benefit of, because again, we are in a social media world, and you have to filter through the real and the fake. And a lot
Yeah.
of times the fake look is appearing real and the real is appearing fake, you know, because they're not doing all of the things. So I say, okay, let me balance it. And then there's
Yeah.
also my mindset of I don't want to be the guy that just shows stuff because the way my belief system set up.
Mm-hmm.
Like I don't want to, this ain't, this not how I think, you know.
Mm-hmm.
But I think it's important. It gives some people incentive and motivates them too.
Mm-hmm.
And I get a lot of feedback when I post little stuff. And my journey next year is to do more in person stuff. Like I did an impact summit, for example,
Mm-hmm.
last year. Was it last year? Early this year? I think early this year. And it was pretty cool. It was fun. I was free, right, to the community. So now I'm gonna do it on a larger scale, like a conference, and start doing that 2 person meetups, intensives, where I don't think a course is something you just give. I think 100% community is what allowed me to do what I'm doing, because that's how I
Yeah.
met yourself.
Yeah.
So having that aspect, but also showing you at the same time, because community is good and the course is good. But let me just show you exactly how to do it. Now you
Yeah.
leave and go compound it. So I want to do more of that stuff. So
I
yeah.
love that. So I want to touch base a little bit. I want to backtrack on what you were talking about on like how it's uncomfortable to like talk about, income and like what we're
Mm-hmm.
making. And it probably has to do with kind of like our generational trauma,
Yeah.
right?
For sure.
Around finances and money and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But I've been having a conversation with myself about this. And even last year, like after I gave birth, it was the first time where because nothing was fitting me, right? Like clothes wise, like that's a whole other discussion in terms of postpartum and stuff. But
Mm-hmm.
nothing was fitting like it used to, and I just never shopped for myself. Like since I started to go on this entrepreneurship journey, I'm like, clothes is nothing, right? Like I didn't focus on that really, but I love
Mm-hmm.
clothes, and growing up, fashion was such a big staple, but it's something that I kind of suppressed because I'm like, it's not important right now and like what I'm focusing on. But last year after I gave birth, I I treated myself and I spent, I remember, I think it was like over $1,000 on just new clothes, right? And it was like on the clearance even on these websites, but it was still a lot of clothes, and it was like the most I've spent in so long, and I felt so guilty about it. And I'm like I'm over here making like $40,000 monthly, and like I'm feeling guilty over spending $1,000 on clothes after I gave birth, after I went through such an evolution, right? And I was
Yeah.
still beating myself up over it, and I'm like, like we like this has to be a conversation, because I think it's something that a lot of entrepreneurs who come from an underprivileged background, who struggled with money or the relationship with money. Um, it's something that a lot of people experience in their own ways, and
Mm-hmm.
it's so interesting. But like recently, even with like talking to people about just what I did, because I'm like, I need to start, like I want to start with the marketing, the sales. A big part of it is just creating your brand, right? And like talking about what you do, and like even with that of like talking about what I feel weird about that sometimes, but I'm like, it's so important because this is not talked about in our community, and what
Right.
we want to build, and like
Mm-hmm.
take myself out of it. But like, how beautiful would it be to just show other girls who look like you how possible it is, right? Being
100%.
in the top 10%,
Mm-hmm.
of black females in this country, like that's something cool, right?
Yeah.
Like, but like
100%.
I don't look at it that way, and that's something that I'm like, no, like this is something that can help people more than anything, and that's what you want to do. So why is it such a crippling thing to like talk about your accomplishments or what you've learned or the skill sets that you've built on, right? So
Mm-hmm.
I to tie it to what you're currently saying about the conferences, I think it's so important. But also don't be afraid to talk about the cool shit that you've done,
Yeah.
with like the monetary side of things too.
Yeah. Absolutely. And dang, that's a lot of clarity too, because that's what I do it for. You know what I mean? I do it for everybody because what I've learned throughout my journey. is that I'm have relationships with higher net worth individuals, you know, like take a Abraham, take a Pace, take a Jamil, take all I can keep going on with people in the communities and stuff like that too. That's higher net worth, but you relate to them too. They relate to you in some degree. So it's like, oh, okay, I have to just be a beacon of light for like everybody at the end of the day
Yeah.
that has some every it don't matter where you come from too, or even if you grew up privileged, you had something that you had to fight through. That's why you see them going through, you see a lot of people that's from privilege, they get depressions, they go it's just stuff happens. You don't know
Yeah.
their life and what level or what they dealing with. You don't know.
Yeah.
You know, you just think because they don't haven't went through the thing you went through, whatever. So my thing is like, okay, to pull all of those things and people in and making it to where, okay, how do you filter out those that's high net worth? You draw that in for those who don't have it and meet them in the median, you know? Because I was, you know, able to do so. I came in and invested in myself where others don't have that opportunity, but they may have a piece of it, you know? So that's why the war over that part is still what I'm up against too. Is like, how do I mesh both worlds essentially, you know? Because
I
I
love
think that's
that.
important. I want to, the thing that I do appreciate though is that people that know me from growing up and knowing me from when I was a young adult to the things I was doing at that time and that transition over and everything that I'm where I'm at today, that you'll see them and I don't know them. Like I don't remember them, right? They were like, man, we see you. Like you motivate us. And these are boys that, you know, that's still out there. It's on the corners that's doing their thing, whatever. They don't it's just a myth, man. And that's the thing that I want to talk about more. That's I'm gonna do a podcast. I think a couple times when it's just me talking.
I love
It's
that.
a super myth where people think when you from where I'm from that people want to do what they are doing. They do not.
No.
No, this is
Mm-mm.
what they see and this is what they has provided and this is the way they thinking they can get out. But the older people like, listen, you either going to jail, you gonna get killed. There's no, you don't win out of this, right? And that's happening. It's true. You know what I mean? It's one or the other you got coming. So my thing is like showing them like it's so many different ways. That's why I called this podcast this, that, and the third, because it's gonna
Yeah.
resonate with them. But now you got people that's I brought on that understands it too, and that said in our conversation that say this, that, and the third. It'd be so funny when I hear him say it. It sounds so funny, you know what I mean? But it resonates both sides, and that's my point. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I think I don't. I want to use my platform for one and not to get the like religious or nothing, but I want God to use it. Like, what am I doing this? I'm not doing it just oh chat is known, etc. Yeah, it is a platform to help my businesses highlight other individuals like yourself that they can reach out to you because you legit doing the stuff that you are saying you're doing. But it's also like the pulling other people. That's why I say it's gonna be way bigger than this. I'm
It's
just a
going to be.
yeah, yeah,
Yes.
100%. You know, God willing, I'm just feeling my way and say, okay, what works and what's this? Because
Yeah.
I have a plan for it. 100, like I want a media company to really get out stories that's not being told. And with the advent of artificial intelligence, like Sonar, for example, that thing is incredible. Like I'm a nerd. I can nerd out on stuff too. When it comes to tech, you can essentially just create a whole movie with this stuff, right? Like it's so super
Cool. I
nice.
haven't heard of it. That's really cool.
Yeah. If to give you some context, Tyler Perry, you know, he was building an extension down there at his studio. He stopped once this came out. He's halted all of that. And he literally said
Really?
in a statement, like, I've stopped all production on that because he's seen what that can do. It's basically taking all of that away. You don't need it. It's crazy. It's like what
Whoa.
yeah. If you look up that article, you'll see him say it. Like when he seen that, he stopped all his
So he's
production.
gonna use it like for his movies and his content and
Yeah.
stuff.
For his stuff.
Whoa.
A lot of
I think maybe it's also because like the film world, I think it's like kind of diminishing in a sense, right? So to have this accessible, maybe it will
yeah.
provide just more of diversity too, and
That
it's more
that's
accessibility.
right, right. That's why they went on strike. Right? When they went on strike, they knew Like, hey, all of this stuff's coming. We got to figure out how to still get compensated, like
Yeah.
for what we do, because these tools are out, and it ain't that
Mm,
AI are is replacing them. It's people that understands AI that's ready to
yeah.
replace them. That's what it is. So we're living in an interesting time, and that's why the 2 day intensive, the way I'm doing it, because you don't information is out there. You just not to know where to get it and how to apply it, right? So just giving you a course, I don't think that's the move. I understand why people do it. People want to get money. Okay, that's cool. I ain't knocking that. But to really make a person get it, you got to show them the implementation of it and surround them with people that's doing it. At the
Mhm.
same time. So that's the whole plan for that. That's
I
why
love
you,
it.
yeah,
Yeah,
you
and
show,
you can really bring in, like you said, like your connections and your network,
yeah,
and bring in people that are in the community. And yeah, I love that. And that's the cool part about the communities we're in, right? It's
yeah,
like it's nationwide. People are nationwide, and people with different
everywhere.
skill sets can come and like travel to you. And I love
Yeah,
that.
yes, yeah,
That's cool.
100%. So yeah, interesting stuff coming up. Hopefully, I can have you a part of them at some point. I have to
I
reach out to
love
you.
it.
Yeah,
Yeah,
have you all
please.
come down and put you all up somewhere, 100%, and
Oh,
have you.
I would love to meet your family.
Yeah,
I love your wife. So that would be very cool to see her. But I
yeah,
haven't met any of your kids or anything. So yeah, like
yeah,
make it happen so I can come to North. I haven't been.
yeah,
I've been to North Carolina once. 6 weeks after Lila was born, we went to a beach city, and like for some reason my brain can't remember it right now, but it was very beautiful, and yeah, I loved it.
yeah. They had some nice ones here. So I'm 100%. I know without a shadow of doubt you're gonna do well. Um, anything
Thank you.
that you need, I'm got you 100% with the anything, whatever. I don't know. If you want to put on
Oh,
the
thank
meetups and
you.
stuff, we can. I roll up there. We can put on the meetup to get you your thing started or whatever, your own little thing. We can
I
whatever.
want to start at just consistently going to meetups,
Yeah,
like just getting good at that and letting people know. But yeah, once I get to the phase of hosting meetups, yeah, you definitely have to come out.
yeah. Just do it. That's
Or
the thing.
you know what, your number is Virginia Beach, right?
Yeah, yeah, because that's where I was at when I got it. I was in Norfolk and Virginia Beach, but I have my North Carolina number. I just can't cut off my Virginia Beach because a lot of my um, like earlier stuff is in there and people. So
Oh,
hard
okay,
to
okay.
migrate them.
Shoot, I might just use that as a callback number for like the list I'm gonna be calling. Okay, for
What? I say, hold up. I'm about to say, hold up. That sound like I'm about to get blown up by somebody's random sellers.
no, I'm kidding.
My people did that.
Oh,
They said on my one of my marketing channels like that one time, and they had one of my numbers. I don't know how it
yeah,
happened. Had one of my it's just an old Google Voice number or something, but it kept pinging like, who are these people? And it was yeah.
that's so
So
funny. I wanted to see your reaction, and it was a funny one.
yeah, it dawned on me like, oh, hold up, nah, definitely don't do me like that. But this is
Okay. I
great.
mean, hey, like, listen, we can like let me know. Let me know what your fee is, and like if it's worth it. We can
Oh
split
no,
something. We can. It's not worth
that's
it.
no. That ain't worth it. You can't put a price on peace, boy. That
No,
thing,
I was. That's exactly what was going through my mind. Is yeah, you
yeah,
can't.
that thing is crazy. Like I was like, and then I actually answered one because it looked pretty good, but I didn't know nothing. You know, it was oh nah, that's not a thing. It's not good. I wouldn't recommend that. You know what I mean? 100%. You're gonna lose a ton of leads for that, for sure.
Oh no, yeah, we can't have that
Yeah.
happening.
Yeah, but it's good. So I like to always have my guests to leave out like a positive note, like something motivational for the people that they can give them. You know.
Oh my gosh, that's a lot of pressure. You know, I think something simple
Yeah.
is every day is a good day to have a great day.
Mm,
Okay.
I like
So
it.
I'm just gonna leave it at that.
Appreciate you, love. This has been amazing. It was so good seeing you. Your face, lovely as always.
Oh, thank you.
Just a little Nyla. I know she. I seen her last time she was on the move, so I know that's getting fun.
Yeah. Oh my gosh, she's all over the place. Oh yeah, I'm actually gonna go pick her up from her grandparents. Uh,
Oh, 100%.
yeah,
Okay.
but thank you. This was so cool. This was so nice. Like I really am so grateful for the ability to catch up and
Yeah.
to learn some things about you too. That was cool. Didn't
Yeah.
know you were a Jay-Z fan that intensely. Everybody's like pretty much a Jay-Z fan, right? But like there's levels to it, and I didn't
It's
know you were
levels.
on that level.
Yeah.
Um,
Levels.
but it's yeah, and congrats on the thing we can't talk about, but
Yeah. we we
congrats on
better talk
that.
about it soon.
Yeah, and all the things that are in the horizon, including that and all your
Yeah.
personal goals. So I can't wait to see it roll out. And yeah, thank you for your time, Chad. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. Anybody and everybody, man. Definitely DM love. What's the love intentionally on Instagram?
Yeah, it's love intentionally underscore, but actually just follow um my transaction coordination page at um intentional TC. You know, if you have questions like just about anything like paperwork wise, like we're happy to answer. We're not taking on any clients right now, but that's a page that is just active even more than mine, truthfully.
Yeah. Love it. Value. Free game, y'all. Y'all get in touch. So we wrapping up another episode. This has been amazing. I appreciate your time, love, of of just dropping and just catching up, And to the people, take heed to the things she said. It's amazing business model, man. If you want to get into that. If you have again the frequently asked questions page, she got it for you. So we wrapping up, y'all. I appreciate y'all tuning in. Until next time, keep going.
Bye.
All right, later.
Hello. You want to?